So I'm in San Diego for the next 24 hours and I decided to pack pretty light. I just brought my iPhone, the Fuji X100V, and the Canon V10. I love the Fuji for when I'm traveling because it's small, it's light, and I don't really have to edit the photos because using film recipes, they're pretty much edited for you. In a recent video, I shot with Eddie Maynard's film simulation for a week, and I thought this would be a great trip to try out Matti Haapoja's film simulation.
When it comes to the recipes or film looks, I haven't really had time to experiment a ton, but I basically just kind of dialed in a look that I liked, and I've actually been really enjoying it. And so far, that's the main one that I've been using.
So I'm gonna be testing out Matti Haapoja's film recipe in a bunch of different locations. We're staying at one of the coolest hotels in San Diego. It's actually a motel called The Pearl. We found it through our Amex card. It's your typical two-story motel setup where all your rooms are surrounding a pool. But what really attracted us to The Pearl is that they have a dive-in movie tonight. You know, like a drive-in movie, but dive in around the pool. Change of plans. The movie actually didn't happen this evening. The Wi-Fi is out at the hotel, so we went for Thai food instead. Sunset just finished here at Sunset Cliffs, and the photos are a lot cooler than I was expecting, so I'm interested to see what they look like when I get them back on the computer. Tonight we're at Griffith Observatory, and the sun is about to go crazy, and I expect we're going to get a really nice golden hour. Tonight should be a good test of whether this recipe works with golden hour. I am now in Jasper for a couple days, so I'm going to be testing this recipe here as well. It's a pretty big difference from California and the warmth. It is August and it's already 10 degrees here. It feels a lot like fall. Right away, I'm noticing the colors back in Canada are so much different than what they were in California. Even though Matti's white balance is shot in auto, it does feel extremely blue, and that's probably also in part to the film simulation that's being used. There's nothing wrong with shooting in a cooler white balance. I just tend to prefer shooting a lot warmer and adding the cool back into the shadows. Personally, I also usually desaturate my blues a little bit and move them to a different tint of blue. I don't know exactly the tint of blue, it's just not the blue that I'm shooting with right now. But how amazing is this? This is the Skywalk by Pursuit. We're between the Columbia Icefields and Jasper, and this is a skywalk that goes over top of a canyon, and this actually has a glass floor that you can look down into the canyon. Plus, how insane is that glacier up there? Well, now I'm on top of a glacier. It is freezing cold up here, even though it's not summer. It's also really flat, and I actually have no idea what to take photos of. But there is a lot of blue. Let's talk about this film recipe.
I tried to use it in two completely different environments. One in sunny, warm California, and the other in the mountains of Alberta in the summer, even though it was freezing cold while I was there. All of the photos in this video are shot in JPEG using Maddie's film recipe. I didn't adjust anything except for the occasional crop or horizon straightening, and there was a few times that I did bump the exposure or lower the exposure a little bit because I did shoot these pretty run and gun. Viewing these photos on the computer, I do wonder if my contrast is a little bit lower than the photos that I saw that Maddie was posting, and I wonder if this is because I used a 1/8 Pro Mist filter on the camera. I'm no expert at filters, but I do know that a Pro Mist filter will bloom your highlights and soften the image up a little bit, and I have a feeling that the Pro Mist reduced the contrast a little bit for this specific recipe. But I don't know that for sure. All I know is that if I were to touch these photos up a little bit, I would add a little bit of contrast. The white balance on these photos does skew towards blue and green, and the blue color I would call a cobalt blue. This was a fun recipe to shoot with. I feel like if you're taking on the challenge of shooting with film or programming a random film recipe into your Fuji camera, you're open to a little bit of randomness and you're not 100% sure with what you're gonna get. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with the results. No major issues, no major standouts. Time will tell if I continue to use this recipe in my top 7 rotation on my Fuji. I'll link in the description Maddie's original video where he talks about the Fuji X100V and the recipe that he created in case that you want to try it out for yourself. Go send him some love, tell him that a random Calgarian shot with his recipe for a week. That's it for me. My name's Davey. Thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you in the next video.